Obscuria!
Welcome back, my friends, to the In Obscuria podcast, a podcast where we exhume obscure rock and punk and metal and put them in one of three categories: the lost, the forgotten, or the should-have-beens. I'm one of your co-hosts, Kevin Williams, joined by Mr. Robert Harrison.
Exactly 6 feet away.
Exactly 6 feet away.
We measured it.
It's a weird time we're living in right now. We're right in the middle of this corona deal, and
it's like all of my friends and I did something really bad and we're all in restriction for like 2 more weeks.
To me, it's like I watched way too many zombie movies over the course of my life, and this is playing out oddly for me.
Oh, I'm ready for that. Now, I've got a rooftop. I can pick them off 100 yards away.
You got your ammunition.
Yeah, I got like 4 different flamethrowers.
Right.
We're good to go.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Hopefully not. But anyway, just in case it does, and you're really bored as you're waiting for the zombies to invade your house, hey, go listen to some of these podcasts. We have Metal Up Your Podcast, The Dummy Room, Pod of Thunder, Decibel Geek, Podcast Rock City, Cobras and Fire, Growing Up Rock, The Lipstick Panel, History Science Theater, I Love It Loudcast, Ages of Rock, and The Synaptic Empire. Those are a few anyway. Go check those out. Also, please check us out at inobscuria.com. Like us, share us, recommend us, do all the social stuff. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we're getting a little more traction there, so please keep the comments coming. All right. Well, Robert.
Yes?
Happy episode 20, man. We made it to 20, dude.
20. One more episode and we can drink.
You're right. Yeah,
legally.
I actually don't have a drink today. So.
Yeah, just got the water. I'm trying to be healthy.
Bummer. All right. Well, this is a bit of a milestone episode in a way. So several weeks ago, we have inboxes you can go through inobscuria.com, and there's an inbox, and you can send us a message. You can send us an email, actually. And several weeks ago, we got an email from somebody I didn't know, and I shared it with Robert, and we looked at it together, and it was very cryptic and weird, and basically says, I have some recordings from a really well-known band that you guys might dig. And it was, very short and sweet, and okay.
It's weird because we're all about the obscure.
Yeah, it was
bands.
An obscure message.
It was an obscure message about a well-known band, so that seemed a little off the mark.
Yeah, so anyway, reached back out to this person who we don't know and said, hey, yeah, give us some more information. Sure, we'll check it out. And kind of go back and forth, and they're not really forthcoming with a lot of information, basically saying, I'm waiting to see if I can release these songs or not. Okay, so at that point, Robert and I are like, okay, who's pranking us, right? Because we're not getting a lot of feedback. And so I'm thinking, maybe it's one of our friends who's just playing around with us. And then I thought, maybe it's one of the podcasters, because the podcaster community, we like to prank each other a little bit. But anyway, then the messages just stopped. So we didn't really get anywhere with it and thought no big deal about it. And then, I guess a week ago now, we got a message saying, here you go, enjoy. And it was 6 files with no description or anything. So, okay, cool. But the message says, bravo on the show. Enjoy these never before heard songs from...
Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, mama said the way you move. Something like that.
Something like that.
From Led Zeppelin.
The Led Zeppelin.
So then we knew we were being pranked, but then we listened to it. Like,
I had never heard these.
Damn. Pretty cool. And I don't have all those re-releases. You know how they put out those remasters and they put extra tracks and all that stuff on, but I didn't recognize any of these.
Couldn't find these.
So here we go, man. This is kind of cool. So first, we're going to dive into the Led Zeppelin vault. These are never before heard songs that I'm aware of.
I didn't know there was such thing as obscure Led Zeppelin. I figured by now everything had been dug out. So this is pretty cool to be able to actually do some research on a band that I thought I knew.
And I still don't know how we got these, but anyway. So what we decided to do, because, this was pretty exciting. So instead of the usual way that we do our banter, I took some of the songs and Robert took some of the songs, and we're going to talk about it between the two of us.
It gave me something to do while I was quarantined.
Exactly. So, who has the first one? I have the first one, right? I think so. Here is the first track of these never before heard songs. And working title, from what I gathered, is called Let It Go, Hear You Moan. And when I listen to this, there's not a lot of information that we got on this. So when I'm listening to this, I'm having to think this has to come from the way it sounds. It has to be around 79, 80 maybe. So right at the end of, before John Bonham died. The vocals you'll hear kind of remind me of like the Whole Lotta Love kind of early days style, but the guitar playing and everything definitely sounds later in their career. So that's why I'm guessing 79, 80, somewhere around there. The Page lead is fantastic. Without further ado, let's jump into the first track.
That is just unmistakably Robert Plant. Who doesn't recognize that voice? Be from another planet and recognize that voice.
Another plant it.
Oh,
clever.
You're
so clever. Man, and what's cool about that is I don't know why that didn't get released, especially around that time. But the lead to me from that time period, I'm thinking 79, 80, it's not nearly as sloppy as a lot of the stuff that Page was doing at that time. It sounded just ripping. It sounded like some of his earlier stuff.
Was he sober that day? Or
that's what I'm thinking.
Was he not sober that day?
This didn't
What's
make
the
it.
difference?
This didn't make it because he was sober when they recorded. It's like, I can't release that.
Yeah, it's too straightforward and I don't want to say normal, but it's just a good lead. Nothing wrong with it.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna change it up here, Robert. You take us away for the next one. What
I am definitely not used to doing the research. Normally, that's your job. I just show up and make smart-ass comments, which I'm very good at. But I actually had to do a little bit of research. And this first one, it took a little bit, but I was able to piece it together from like 2 or 3 different websites, fan pages and stuff. You can put together the story. But this is the first time I'd heard this song. But I do remember back in '84. I'm old enough. You probably don't remember this.
I remember '84, man.
Do you remember the Honey Drippers?
Totally.
Come with me.
Oh yeah. At that time, I thought it was something that my dad was listening to that I would never get into.
It completely threw me off when it came out. I liked it, but I didn't know at the time why I liked it, and I was only 14, so I didn't know about Led Zeppelin other than I'd heard the name. Then I realized it was the lead singer and Jimmy Page, which I forgot. He was also in the Honey Drippers.
See, I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
I just remember Plant.
Jeff Beck too, but Plant and Page reunited. So 4 years had gone by since Led Zeppelin had broken up. They got together to do something completely different than Led Zeppelin, which I can see that after a decade of being in Led Zeppelin.
They should have called it Lid Zipper.
Lid Zipper, Light Zeppelin. It was really Light Zeppelin. It was easy listening. So they're in the studio recording the Honey Drippers, and lo and behold, down the hall, in one of the other rooms, none other than, and this is how I figured it out because I recognized this guitar player, Jakey Lee. Uh-huh. He was down the hall recording with another band. So as they're taking a break, Plant and Page were jamming on an old song. They used to play it live a lot. It's called High Wire. And they just were kind of jamming on it to kind of break up the easy listening stuff. And Jakey Lee was in the control room. And when they finished it, they kind of looked over and Robert Plant recognized Jakey Lee. So they started chatting and said, come on in, jam with us, hang out. So Jakey Lee sits through and starts jamming on this song and just completely took over the song. Like Jimmy Page just steps back and just basically starts playing rhythm. And Jakey Lee just starts ripping through the leads on this song. And so they liked it so much.
As he does.
As he does, yes. I think.
How did this not get released?
Yeah, I know. So you got to hear and listen. You can, like I said, plainly hear it's Jakey Lee playing the guitar and Jimmy Page in the background. You can't quite tell it's him because, like I said, he's just laying back, just letting Jakey Lee be the front and center. And so they played through it a couple of times and then hit record. And this is what came out of it.
Amazing. Check it out.
You're gonna lose control.
Page and Plant featuring Lee.
Yeah, I know. Page, Plant, Lee. That's like the dream team right there. I think they should have gone one more and brought in Zakk Wylde. That would have been pretty insane, but it's too much to ask, I guess.
Well, I mean, at that time, Zakk Wylde would have been a kid.
So what? He was still better than I was at the time.
Better than anybody else. Oh, man, that was cool.
I learned a little bit about Jakey Lee, too. Just going back and doing a little research that he, in high school, or no, this was Zakk Wylde. I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up because went down a rabbit hole and I brought up Zakk Wylde. He would get home from school and play guitar for 10 or 11 hours and then go to school the next day without any sleep or maybe like an hour or two of sleep. And it was like a zombie during school, but that's how passionate he was about playing guitar.
What did his parents do?
Obviously, they weren't home at the time. Or he had headphones. Maybe he had headphones.
My parents, we used to practice in our basement when I was in high school, and my mom would literally stomp on the floor because our practice room was right below the kitchen.
Oh, you know
so
that.
So the pots and pans would just be going crazy, and she would just boom, 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 and we knew, hey, that means Mom's saying it's time to stop.
Yeah, it's universal.
So, yeah.
All right, so what's next?
All right, so next, the file was just labeled Turn It Up, which is not a Zeppelin song that I've ever heard of. Turn It Up. And when I listened to it, this has to be a Bonham Jones joint. I mean, this is like a Moby Dick Part 2. So I'm thinking this is probably around 73, 74 is what I'm thinking. And you can tell why it didn't get released because Plant, his vocals, he sounds a little under the weather, maybe when he recorded or something. It doesn't sound quite like himself, but everybody else is spot on. And if you listen closely, it almost has like a Queen style to it. And I'm thinking if it's 74, then I know that they didn't tour with Queen. Queen didn't open for Zeppelin that I'm aware of, but I know they respected each other because I remember Plant was on the Freddie Mercury tribute album. He sang one of the songs live at wherever that was, Wembley, I guess. Yeah, Wembley Stadium. Back in 92. So anyway, I'm thinking that Zeppelin was probably hip to what Queen was doing in 74, and this is kind of a little bit of a mashup for them. But anyway, Turn It Up. I'm thinking, let's call it 74. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, he was kind of phoning that one in just a little bit, but
Everybody
Page is
else,
spot on.
Everybody else was amazing.
I wish they could have gone back and just cut his vocals and said, okay, now try that again.
Yeah, do another take, and then put that on physical graffiti, please.
It would have fit perfectly.
Would have fit perfectly. You got a double album already. You had room.
Yeah. You got 26 songs.
Make it
What's
a
another
triple.
song?
Make it a triple. Who cares?
28 songs, whatever.
How was that left off, man? That could have been so good. They just needed one more take.
I'm pretty happy to have uncovered some of these. So you ready
got?
for the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I got 2 words. Princess Leia. Does that give you a clue?
I have no idea where you're going with this.
Okay, so in the late 70s...
Ooh, honey buns.
Honey buns? Oh, I love the honey buns. So in Carrie Fisher's autobiography years ago, she mentioned several times the fact that she'd had an affair with a famous rock star. She wouldn't say who, but she mentioned it several times. Pretty much everybody assumed it was Robert Plant because they had been spotted together after shows and things like that. But when he was asked about it, he would always deny it and said, no, that's not me. And so it just left at that. Well,
so she was playing Jedi mind tricks on everybody
total
else.
messing with him. Yeah.
I see it.
No. So after she passed away 3 or 4 years ago, I've lost track. But after she passed away, he was asked about it again, and finally, since she was no longer with us, he admitted yes, it was her, and didn't say too much about it, but mentioned that he had written a song about her. This is what that song is. It mentions Starshine in your eyes, other references to stars. And so basically he wrote this song about her and his affair with her. He was married at the time. And this would have been in the late 70s.
Late 70s, right?
Probably 79. And she was, big time star. Star Wars
She was pretty young,
massive.
too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, come on. Princess Leia at that time.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
The way she turned out and the way she was in her youth, it's like complete.
She's a hot mess
person.
as a real person, and in real life, just a basket case. But in the movie, a pure fantasy right there.
Yep.
So basically, at that point in time, that's when he wrote the song. But he was a little too literal with it, and he was worried that his wife would realize what it was if they released it. And it sounded a little bit too much like several of the other songs that they put on their last album, and so it was an easy way to cut it. That was his excuse for not putting it on the album. But in real life, like I said, he didn't want to have to pay that alimony, so he didn't want to break up his marriage. So tell me what you think now that you've heard the story.
Interesting.
See if you catch the references.
All right, I'm going to listen to it.
She's a lady, comes from all around. Many places, but she's homeward bound. And now she walks kind of funny, I think she knows. Day by day, our love grows. She's a lantern in the night, she's out of sight. Tender care, hills of satin grass and maidens fair. Now she rides through the night on a silver stone, sword in hand, our fates torn. She's a sparrow of the dawn, our love is born. Hey!
am your lover.
Princess Leia, you are my daughter. I mean, excuse me, my mistress. You're that young.
That was impressive, knowing the background behind that.
But also now you understand that sounds like so many of their other songs, especially that last album, In Through the Outdoor. I can see why, if he wasn't super enthusiastic about it being released, he would say, oh, yeah, let's vote for the other
That's why
ones
that
first.
one got cut.
Yeah.
I love it when John Paul Jones does all that organ stuff.
The keyboard,
at the
yeah.
end. I love it. I love his organ playing as much as I love his bass playing, which is saying something because the guy's a maniac on bass. But he always looks so goofy to me.
He was not your stereotypical rock guy.
Especially when he had like the medieval looking
Bob,
whatever
that is.
It's like so goofy, especially when I was getting into them and it was in the heyday of punk and metal and stuff like that. And just seeing them, I'm like, I love the sound I'm hearing, but the visuals are just not connecting.
You were seeing
with
it
me.
from the 80s and all that, looking into the 70s, which looking into the 70s from anything other but the 70s, it's got to be a different world.
So foreign.
Yeah, there was
in
a lot
way.
of weird stuff.
I loved it, but it felt so long ago. And at that point, it was only 6 or
not even
10 years ago, or
yeah.
whatever it was. But yeah, it always felt so distant, like you were really watching something old. But I remember the only thing I had ever seen of Led Zeppelin at that time was Song Remains the Same. We used to rent that and watch it. My buddy Connor and I would watch that. We'd have sleepovers and like, hey, rent that movie. We'll watch that and hang out. And just being astounded at the style and the, it's kind of pompous, and they have like a lot of long jams in that concert, which I think is a Madison Square Garden concert.
Yeah.
So,
but think about being there. You got your money's worth. You left there going, yeah, I'm spent.
Yeah.
Just watching them.
And I remember thinking it was kind of odd. There were people that were sitting down, and I would have thought that you would just be jumping up and down and going crazy.
It was more the
for
accepted
Led
norm.
Zeppelin.
I mean, that's the whole story.
Well, they were all stoned.
Well, that too.
Like,
But
I didn't realize it at the time. Like, they're stoned out of their gourds.
Roger
man.
Waters
They're gonna
talking
sit
about
down.
the transitioning from audiences sitting there listening to you play to the transitioning to the standing up screaming the entire concert. That was the whole evolution of
Right.
Animals and the Wall, everything
Yeah.
else. So yeah, that was probably a leftover from the early days of people sitting
But
to
the
watch a
80s,
concert. By then it was stand
in
up.
90s. I mean, so the 80s, everybody stood up and jumped up and down.
Yeah.
Or if you were at a punk band or a punk show, you were doing slam dancing. And then in the 90s, everybody was up over your head, and you had to watch out for feet kicking you in the head.
Three-dimensional viewing of the concert. Doc Martens upside the head.
Yeah. So anyway, that just reminds me. It goes perfectly into the next song because it's a live cut, and I thought it was odd that we got a live cut in this group of songs, but it's a song that we've never heard. So I guess it makes sense. It must have been something they were trying out, and I'm assuming it came from that same tour that gave us the Song Remains the Same. So it has to be around 73 or so. You could just hear it, and talking about the crowd, there's very little crowd noise in this recording. It sounds almost like half-empty hall, even though it's Led Zeppelin. There wasn't a half-empty hall, but I think everybody's just so stoned out of their gourds. They're just all sitting down, and they don't know the song, so they're just chilling. I would say Plant, you can tell it's a song that they haven't quite worked out, because Plant is definitely trying to find his way through this one. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing that I'll tell you is the only note that I found on this recording, because I did a little research as well, I found something about Peter Grant. Do you know who Peter Grant is?
No.
So he was this larger than life. He was their manager. And he was like 6'7". He was a huge dude, and they think he was connected to the mob somehow. And he got Led Zeppelin paid. He got Led Zeppelin more than they even wanted sometimes, because he was just a force. Hey. This guy is well known for just being crazy, but he would also party with the band. He's a big drinker, big partier. He's just a larger than life person, literally. But apparently on that tour, sometimes he would get just super coked up, and he would go back to the boards, and he would think managers shouldn't touch knobs. They shouldn't try to be musicians.
No.
They shouldn't try to be engineers. And I think what we have here is one of those instances where Peter Grant was back on the board whipping away at the guitar phasers and equalization, and you'll hear it. You can hear what he's doing to the PA. The poor band. This, probably the other reason this never went anywhere, this particular song. But he's messing with Page during his little improv solo at the end. So
whoever was the board op was like, I know he's not supposed to be doing this, but he's 6'7".
I'm not going to say anything.
I'm not going to say no.
He manages the band. He pays me. I'm not going to say anything to this guy.
Sure, come in.
Yeah, but this is why managers should only manage. They shouldn't get involved with music. So this one, let's see, what is it called? I think it's just called Junior. That's what I thought. Check it out. Here's Junior.
Now, Junior, behave yourself. Miles old in rock and roll books at the magazine stand. Ooh, up and down on the guy is off to the jukebox band. She's just here tonight. Things are ready to boot. Rocking and rolling, swinging in the shooter hoop. Rock and roll just got to stop. In his head, it's all out of love. Now, Junior, behave yourself. Now, Junior, behave yourself.
I think he was making up about a third of those lyrics. So probably this was some type of work in progress. But I think he was kind of ad-libbing, trying to find something to go on. He had the chorus, but not much of the verse.
Featuring Peter Grant on the panning.
God, that was annoying. God, that was annoying.
Were you going to tell him to move?
No, I'm not. 6'7". I'm like,
he's a big dude. You're not going to tell him to move. He'll put you 6 feet under.
how come they haven't made a movie about him? Just I know he was in Song Remains the Same, but still, it sounds like a character you could write an entire
He
movie
definitely,
about.
Yeah, and I don't think he died until I don't know. I don't think it's been that long.
Mm-hmm.
But they should make a movie about Peter Grant.
If
That'd
he's
be
dead,
pretty
you can just
badass.
make it up. You don't have
That'd
to
be a good way to do a Led Zeppelin movie. Is not to have it about Led Zeppelin, but have it about Peter Grant.
Yeah, because he's probably more interesting. You've heard all the other stories.
Right. That's cool.
All right, the next and the last one, I had it pretty easy, I have to admit. So everybody listening, this is pretty much straight off their Wikipedia page. So I'm not much of a detective, but all you got to do is Google it. It comes up on their Wikipedia page. So the story is around 1975. They were on tour. Robert Plant and his wife were in a car accident, and it was a pretty bad one. They had to cancel the tour. It was a big deal. So while he was recovering, they rented a studio and decided to write some music and record. And this became the album Presence, because they said during this recording time in the studio, they continuously felt this presence over them or around them, and that influenced a lot of their songs. So he wrote this song, and it's called Favorite Heart to Break, or My Favorite Heart to Break, either one. And it was about his wife. And he was feeling guilty because he was driving and caused this accident. She was hurt. He was hurt really bad.
He was thinking about Princess Leia.
He was probably, yeah. No, this was before that. This was 75. She was
right. That
definitely,
was 77.
Definitely underage at this point. So, yeah, but still, he was feeling bad because, like I said, he was driving and they both got hurt pretty bad. But anyway, as he would leave for tour or leave to go on these trips, she would always say, "You're breaking my heart because you're leaving." And, she was halfway joking, but halfway serious, because she knew, hey, he's a famous rock star. He's not spending a lot of nights alone in his hotel room. And so that's why he wrote it kind of for her, about her, as My Favorite Heart to Break. But once again, they wrote a lot of songs, and not all of them get to go on the album. You've got producers and everybody else sitting around going, no, cut that one. And this was one of the ones that was cut.
that was really good.
Yeah.
Again, another one that should have made it, right?
Yeah, whoever you are that send us these songs, thank you. And please contact us if you feel like it. Give us more info how you found these things. We don't have permission to make these downloadable, so please share this podcast and get the word out about these songs, because these songs need to be heard, and maybe we can get permission, or somebody can figure out how to get permission to make these downloadable.
And how did we get them? Amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. 20 episodes in and we're getting exclusives like this. Unbelievable.
But I'm happy either way. We'll figure out how later, but this is pretty cool. I'm glad to be part of this.
Absolutely. Well, I guess that's it today, man. We had the 6 songs. Really, really cool. I just can't believe that we got such an opportunity. Is there one last thing to say?
I think there is.
What is it?
April Fools.